Have you ever heard of a vice admiral named Snitcher? I'm not lying to you. That's a real name. Vice Admiral Snitcher. He is a character that was introduced in the One Piece Premiere Show 2025. The One Piece Premiere Show is a live action show that was performed at Universal Studios in Japan, the Waterworld stage, from July 1st to October 6th last year, 2025. And in this live stage play, we get arguably one of the strongest Marines I have ever heard of in my life. Someone who is, I think, unquestionably deserving of the title of Admiral. Someone who was able to put Yonko Monkey D. Luffy and his crew and Buggy's crew and the Cross Guild on the back foot. Vice Admiral Snitcher. It's a crazy name, but his plays are even crazier, actually giving some credibility to the Vice Admiral rank. So much so that Homeboy was actually at the Summit War. He was at Marine 4, and he considered Marine 4 to be a rousing success. It was a major achievement on the Marine parts to do what they did against Whitebeard and Ace and Company at Marine 4. And throughout this whole engagement with the Cross Guild and with the Straw Hat Pirates, and luring them to an island where they would fight each other while him and his boys were planning to capture Buggy and Luffy, this man was actually hell-bent on starting an even bigger war than the Summit War in an attempt to try and have the Marines wipe out all the pirates in the New World. So he wanted Marine 4 to race to the power of 4. He wanted the Marines and world government and all their assets and so on and so forth to mobilize against all the pirates in an attempt to wipe them all out. According to his bio, Snitcher is a devout believer in the Marines' motto of absolute justice and despises pirates and being willing to sacrifice anything, even the lives of his subordinates, to wipe out these pirates. So the man is gung-ho to a scary degree. I tried to watch as much as I could of whatever was available online for the One Piece 2025 USJ premiere show. But unfortunately, it's not translated into English. None of it is. You have to use the YouTube captions for that, and they're not good. There's not a full display of the entire show, of the entire series of events that you can actually sit down and watch translated into English, unfortunately. But there are segments here and there of seeing Snitcher in action against Luffy and company, because he does fight against Luffy and does have Luffy on the back foot. And part of the reason why he has him on the back foot is because of his insanely busted devil fruit. Peep this. The man does have haki like other vice admirals, so armament and observation haki. And he's also able to be said to control all of the information in the seas. But then we get the reveal of his power, the Reba Reba no Mi. The English name would be the reverse fruit. Just the name and the name alone of the ability is scary. The reverse fruit. And I quote, Snitcher ate the Reba Reba Paramecia type devil fruit that allows him to reverse time on people or energy. He uses this ability in both combat and to support his subordinates when necessary. A better breakdown right here. The reverse fruit grants the user the ability to reverse the moments of others or the flow of energy, including physical force. They have the ability to selectively enforce this reversal, applying only to specific targets or to apply it over all eligible targets in a given area. The reversal of an opponent's movements additionally leaves them disoriented for a few seconds, and the reversal of energy allows the user to functionally reflect attacks based onto the user. For the reversal ability to function, it must be manually activated by the user. It cannot be set to work automatically. This means that the user can only reflect attacks that they are able to react to, and leaves them vulnerable if they are distracted. And then of course, know that we can weaknesses are known outside to the standard Durfy weaknesses, which of course is water. Usage. Snitcher uses the Reba Reba no Mi to reverse the movement and energy of those around him, typically for combat or capture purposes. In combat, he frequently reverses the attacks of his opponents, leaving him nigh untouchable in single combat.
Crazy.
Brother, this guy's real. You can't even touch him because everything that you're doing is reversed. In a weird way, in order to bypass his ability set in single combat, you have to like reverse the reverse. So whatever you do has to be reverted in some weird way so you can try and do damage to him in some way, right? If you attack one way, reversed, it actually goes rewinding in time. It never happened. Honestly, it's really similar. I ain't lie to you. It's really, really similar to Gold Experience Requiem. Woo! Play the theme. It really is similar to JoJo's Part 5, Giorno Giovanna's Stand, Gold Experience Requiem. If you fight this dude in single combat, effectively speaking, you will never reach him because everything you do will be reversed in time. So you will never reach the truth. You will never touch this man. He's nigh untouchable in single combat. This dude's cracked. This dude is cracked, man. Now, there are major, massive caveats to this whole thing playing out in the One Piece premiere show, but I'm not done yet. Additionally, he uses movement reversal to leave targets disoriented, allowing them to be easily captured, even by his weaker subordinates. Techniques, reverse. The Reba Reba no Mi's primary technique, the user makes a circle motion with their arms, reversing time itself on an intended target. This technique is accompanied by a flash of lights lasting as long as the reversal is kept active, typically purple, green, or blue. Because in the stage itself, it looks very impressive. You have the main audience, then you have like the interactive sort of like main stage where the actors are doing their thing. Then you have the background setting where you have like more actors doing their thing in the background and that sort of marine sort of setting. You have a moat where they actually have jet skis and speedboats. When let's say G-Man does an attack of some kind, you see like the water explode to mimic his attack. So the stage plays are really good. Like the detail and the effort they put in Japan for these stage plays is it's no joke. Over there, it's serious business. But I digress. One last highlight here is that this is the second known power in One Piece, though it's not canon, to be able to manipulate time. First, it's Toki's ability, and now it's Snitcher's ability. So Snitcher is no joke. However, when you read the entire full summary, the long summary of what happened, the details do reveal a few things that are very important here. And then also when you watch, at least I tried to watch as much as I could, Luffy does fight against Snitcher 1v1 and is on the back foot. He is on the back foot. It's crazy. In fact, Snitcher has a plan where he's able to get access to Luffy's crew via Bartolomeo's boys, because apparently at one point in time, he saved Bartolomeo and company. And there is a person on Bartolomeo's crew, a new character named Alviro, where Balto and Alviro, they beg Luffy to meet Snitcher because he's a big fanboy. Of course, at the live, he's in incognito mode, but he's tricking Luffy to stay on this island particularly because it's a setup by him that there's a road poneglyph rubbing somewhere on the island. So they need one more poneglyph rubbing to get access to Laugh Tale. And then he sets up Buggy and Luffy to fight each other because he tells Buggy the same thing. And he lies to Luffy, telling Luffy that Buggy said that Luffy will never be king of the pirates. That gets Luffy heated. Buggy is there too because Buggy was told by Snitcher that there is a poneglyph rubbing on this island, this random island. And what's revealed in this premiere show 2025 is the Cross Guild have all three rubbings already. All three of the rubbings that Luffy, Law, and Kid have. How? It's not canon, but according to the long summary, they have all three rubbings of the road poneglyphs already. So if that winds up being, let's say, canon later on, then this is where it all stems from. Where at some point it's revealed in this live show that's the case. And then later in the manga, we may see that actually be the case where somehow, some way, they do have all three rubbings. which is crazy. We don't know how, but they have them. And so why is it being a battle between the Cross Guild, the Strat Pirates and company, and the Marines that are there? Things are happening to where I think Chopper gets captured. First, Luffy and Buggy do because of some shenanigans via Snitcher, and then they fall into the water. Then they get Seastone cuffed, and then Chopper gets captured later on. Then Kobe gets involved because Kobe doesn't like what Snitcher's doing here because he's trying to start total war with all the Marines, world government, and so on and so forth against the pirates across the new world. And then apparently Kizaru was involved in this too when it came to, let's say, co-sign this happening, but it was actually a play on Kizaru's part to find out what Snitcher was going to do with all this manpower because he knew that he was planning something foul. In some of the footage, you do see that Crocodile and Mihawk are involved in this too. Snitcher had Marine groups that were set up as counter to certain Strat Pirates. So, for example, against Sanji and Brook, they were only female Marines or Marines that were dressed up as women. Against Robin and Nami, there was fake treasure that they had hidden away somewhere, and then their Marines among the treasure. So he had a whole plan in place for not only capturing the captains, Buggy and Luffy, but also had a plan in place for dealing with the Cross Guild and the Strat Pirates. So this man was hella effective, but at the end of the damn day, Chopper was captured, I think, most of the time. And then it looks like Luffy was somewhat getting weaker during the fight when he fought against Snitcher. And then you can see, based on the actual play itself, Luffy's in base form. So he's not in like Gear 5 crazy mega powerful form when Snitcher's beating him 1v1 essentially. And it comes down to Buggy distracting Snitcher somehow, some way. And then Luffy does one tap him with a Gum Gum Red Hawk. And then he falls into the water. And then afterwards, Snitcher, who does adhere to the pecking order of command very stringently, Kizaru says, stand down, you're being arrested, and then he just submits. So Snitcher as a villain is interesting because he took one Red Hawk and he was defeated that way, but at the same time he fell into the water. But his powers are insanely busted, and on top of that, he is one of the only few characters to manipulate time in the story. It's not explained how Luffy's getting weaker and weaker during the fight, but he kind of is somehow, some way. He was pretty effective against both the Cross Guild and the Strat Pirates through his own machinations and schemes and plans. The fact that Buggy had to distract Snitcher during the 1v1 fight against Luffy, and that's how Luffy got the one up on Snitcher, is almost indicative of the idea that in a one-on-one fight, this man could be nigh untouchable. Land, sea, and air status. As a vice admiral. But in principle, even if you have, let's say, the power to reverse time, if you do have strong enough hockey, it won't work that well, in principle. But for the stage play's sake, that's a pretty powerful dude. No lie. So this is the story of one of the most powerful Marines that you guys have never heard about. Never heard about. And if there's any way you guys have access to like way more of the One Piece 2025 premiere show, then let me know. I'll watch it on my Twitch streams. Just let me know. I do those regularly, but I really want to roll through this because this seems like a fun time to kind of watch on stream. I can't find much, but if there is something out there that's like translated into English that we can sit down and watch for like an hour or so, let me know because I want to see this whole thing. If you don't know, now you know. Marine fanboys and fangirls, you're welcome.
See you. Bye-bye.